1 minute. It's audible. It's visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we start?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. This is Pawan Kumar CM, PhD scholar from Adi Chunchandgiri University. So it's my pleasure to welcome Fatima Begum ma'am, our delegates guest and a speaker for today's session. And coming to her academic excellence, she has secured a PhD in pharmaceutical science at Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Science. And also she has secured M.Pharm in pharmacology, neuropharmacology from St. Joseph College of Pharmacy. And it's a great, she's secured a third rank for the Kerala University. And coming to her professional role, she's doing assistant professor, Department of Pharmacology in Enapoya Pharmacy College and Research Center. And coming to her technical skills, she's advanced. She's specialized in laboratories, techniques, cell culture, molecular docking, and various in vivo modeling. And her experience in both animal and alternative models like Drosophila and also zebrafish. And it's my privilege to tell her achievements. She is the woman scientist, a grant from DST she have secured, and also she have having a multiple awards for presentation and speeches at national and international level. And she's also recognized person for her workshops. And coming to her research contributions, she is the first in India to study human diabetic derma fibroblast for diabetic wound healing. Academically, she has secured many things and actively mentoring for UGs and PGs project, especially in wound healing and neuropharmacology. And also, she is the reviewer and editor for editorial board member of reputed pharmaceutical journals. And also, I would like to tell all the fellow mates, if you guys have any queries, please text in the comments when the ma'am session is going live. So the session is over to you, ma'am. We are just waiting for your topic, thirst areas in clinical research.
Thank you so much, Pawan. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you so much. So let's start with the session. The session is thrust areas in clinical research. So I have divided the whole section into 8. First, we will be discussing about the introduction to clinical research. I think you all have an idea about the clinical research anyway. So it is nothing but the branch of health science which deals with the safety as well as effectiveness of the medicaments, the drugs. We can learn about the safety, 1 minute. Yeah. We can learn about the safety, efficacy of the new drugs or existing treatment regimens, any diagnostic products, all things we can, medical devices, all things we can learn through the clinical research. And it is used obviously for the prevention, treatment, and diagnosis of various diseases. Coming to the historical perspective, the first clinical trial was conducted by James Linz. And that trial, you may be knowing, it is scurvy trial. It is in 18th century, that is, the sailors on the long sea voyages, they developed scurvy. Scurvy is what? Nothing but lack of vitamin C. So this surgeon, James Litt, in 1747, conducted one controlled experiment. He conducted, it is very interesting, he conducted the experiments in 12 sailors who affected with this scurvy. He divided the 12 sailors into 2 groups containing 6. And each group, received cedar, dilute sulfuric acid, vinegar, seawater, nutmeg paste. Then one group received orange peel or lemons. And it was found out that the outcome of this research is that those group that received orange and lemons, they recovered remarkably as well as quickly. So here comes the first clinical trial, which is used for which paves the way for the modern clinical trials, RCT, randomized clinical trials. Over the centuries, so many trials have been conducted and also so many tragic events have been take place. In that tragic event, one is Tuskegee study, you may have heard of. It is an infamous example of unethical medical research in the US history. The full name of the trial was Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in Negro Male. For this study, they have used 600 African American male from the rural Alabama place, and 399 had syphilis. As you know, it is a sexually transmitted disease. 201, they didn't have the syphilis control group. And the thing is that in this study, there were no informed consent. And also, antibiotics are available. Penicillin was discovered during that time, but the patients withheld the treatment available. As a result, what happens? A large number of patients suffered death, their wives were infected, and also children were born with congenital syphilis. So this study is a violation of the human rights and medical ethics. There was a public outrage also in 1972 when this study was exposed. And what the president of US at that time, he was Bill Clinton in 1997, he gave a formal apology also. After this event, this Tuskegee study, there comes the need for or major changes in the clinical trial came, that is the informed consent, then nothing but the creation of institutional review board, institutional ethical committee, and also patient transparency. So as a result of this event, strict ethical guidelines such as Declaration of Helsinki and International Council of Harmonization Good Clinical Practice came into exist. What is this Declaration of Helsinki? Is nothing but it came into power on 1964, and it is an ethical principles for the researchers as well as doctors who are doing the research. And this was put forward by the World Medical Association. Accordingly, consent is important, well-being of the patient is important. If treatment is available, that should not be withheld. Then comes the ICH-GCP, all may be knowing, International Council for Harmonization. They set the rules. A group of experts are there from US, Europe, and Japan. Rate and safety of participants in order to get the reliable data, then trials to be done by the qualified persons, and also the need of informed consent. All things are explained in this ICH GCP. As a result of this two regulation, the result was the clinical trial should be safe, fair, and trustworthy. Then comes the phases of clinical trials. You know the phases of clinical trials: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Coming to the first phase, it is the safety and dosage determination, and a very small population of 20 to 100. Then comes the second, which is the phase 2, in which the efficacy, that is the ability of the drug to produce the effect and also the side effect, the other effects besides the original effect are studied in 100 to 300 patients. And there comes the third phase, that is the comparison with the standard treatment. That is in 300 to 3,000 participants. Then comes the phase 4, and that is post-marketing surveillance, in which this particular drug or treatment regimen will be given to a large population, including women, geriatric, pediatric patients. And the side effects, all the adverse effects, all the related effects are studied. So which all are the key stakeholders of this research? Actually, clinical research, the main stakeholder is the sponsors. It can be pharma or biotech company. Then contract research organizations will be there, which conduct the trial operationally. Then principal investigators will be there, who is conducting the study. Then, as I told you, institutional review board and ethical committee, which will give proper ethical oversight, will be there. And besides this, regulatory bodies are also there. Which all are the main regulatory bodies? FDA, Food Drug Administration, European Medical Association, and there comes our, in India, CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, which is there for the drug approval of the clinical trial, and also there for the ADR monitor. The head of this is Drug Control General of India under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So then comes the regulatory, then comes the patient, which is the center by every decision, central to every decision. So in this column itself, you can see the stakeholders, the participants are there, which are the volunteers, the investigators, either doctors or the researchers who is very well known about the particular research, who conduct the study. Then the study sites will be there, either hospitals or clinics or organizations. Then comes the sponsors, regulatory authorities, IRBs, contract research organization. Then comes the trial monitoring services, auditing services, which helps to get the data in accurate, reliable form, healthcare providers, and finally, indirectly, the stakeholders will be the community. Everything we are doing for the community, for the benefit of the outcome should be, it should be to the community. So no drugs or better care. What is the importance of clinical research? It is how modern medicine advances. Even a vaccine, a cancer drug, or any diagnostic test, it is undergoing a vigorous clinical trial before it is given to the patients. It ensures that effectiveness as well as safety is there for the particular treatment regimen or the diagnostic tool or the drug. Then comes our second session, that is current landscape of clinical research. What all things are happening in the current area of clinical research? Now the global clinical research trend is rise of decentralized clinical trial. Then growing of Asia Pacific markers, integration of AI and wearable disease, and also more patient engagement. Coming to the decentralized and hybrid clinical trial, we can say it is the expansion of the clinical trial, that is participation. Even the patient can participate from the home through the telemedicine. No need to come to the trial center. So the travel burden can be reduced. And also hybrid models are there. On-site visits can be possible, flexible. Research became more flexible. Digital health is growing rapidly. Then comes the integration of AI, both AI and machine learning, which helps for the drug discovery. It helps to predict various patient outcomes. Even in our college itself, we have created one prediction tool. So in that tool, what we can do is we can predict the disorders based upon so much questionnaires. Then it helps to enhance the patient recruitment and also proper designing of the trials. Then comes the in silico trials. In silico, as you know, now it is gaining so much attention. Before the preclinical and clinical studies, we will be going to in silico, computer models or simulations to find out whether it is suitable for the further studies. Moreover, predictive models are also there, and deep learning based upon neuronal networks are also there. Then comes the real world evidence. It is based on all the electronic health data, the registries, all that wearable sensors we are using based upon that. Both the FDA and EMA, they accept this real world evidence. So what happens is that because of that, faster approval and proper post-marketing monitoring is, safety monitoring is done. As I told you, wearable devices are collect the real-time data, and also digital biomarkers, they helps to get the response properly. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So biomarkers are also there to find out the particular adverse drug effects or any reactions or any particular effects related to the particular drug. Then another thing is there, which is known as the blockchain technology. It always gives the secure and immutable trial data. Once the patient is coming to the trial, till he's dropping out of the trial, all the things will be there in this data. And it is transparent also. And there comes the rollout of ICH E6R3. What is that? This you should know. The International Council of Harmonization, they finalized in January 2025 the ESIS R3. It will come into exist from 23rd July 2024. Accordingly, the research, clinical research will be more flexible. The risk assessment should be proper, and also the technology can be integrated so as to get the good results, reliable results, and also the quality focused approach is possible. So that is ICH E6R3. Then comes various trials, sustainability, and moving paperless content, using that, then monitoring the travel reduction. All these things also help for the environment goals. Then emerging biotech startups also. Different FSPs will be there now, that functional service providers will be there, and site management organizations will be there. This all helps to gain to get maximum result in the particular research, and also site networks are increasing. Then digital literacies and AI training is increasing nowadays for all areas. Yesterday I have seen even AI drugs has been marketed, and it has been it is being introduced. It will be introducing for the clinical trials. So AI is there in every area. Then regulatory bodies like FDA and EMA issue guidance of adaptive, decentralized, data-driven trials also. This is what is the statistics of clinical trial. You can see major clinical trial. As of 2025 data I have kept. 1 minute. As of 2025 data I have kept, and accordingly, we can see about majority of the portion trials are taking place in United States, followed by China, and then India, then European Union, and the rest of the world. This data is from clinicaltrials.government.in. So what are the challenges now we are facing in the clinical trial area? The patient recruitment and retention, main challenge, and also the regulations are somewhat complex in some time. And the privacy of the data that the patients are giving, the cybersecurity of that, rising cost, and there will be change in the diversity. As the place changes, all the trial will be also changed. The result will also change. All this comes under the challenges. Patient recruitment, as I told you, fail to enroll enough patients, and also sometimes there will be dropout of patients due to inconvenience during the trial. So it will affect the whole trial timeline. It will increase the cost, and it will cause so many problems. So for that purpose, you can use social media, digital recruitment tools and all. Remote visiting, telemedicine can be used. Then the regulations are complex. We can make it more flexible to the human. The trial central regulatory technology platforms can be used. Then data privacy. Sometimes it will make the loss of trust from the patients or from our participants, and risk also is there. So for that purpose, we can give a strong government training, access controls and all. Then comes the rising cost. For this matter, we can, another important challenge of the clinical research is this. For this risk-based monitoring services we can done, or decentralized trials can be done, platform trials can be done, because otherwise, especially phase 3 will also, we know that the management of staff is very expensive. So it can cause delay the drug development process. So in order to reduce that, we can do all these things. I told you diversity issues are also there. What we can do to avoid this diversity issues, we can keep rich, then some local site partnerships you can keep, then multilingual consents also you can keep. You can see the challenges today, what all are in this 2025, what all are the main challenges that is facing in the clinical research, patient privacy, raising cost, divorce, and what's been done. You can go through it. Already I have explained this. Then comes the section 3, which is our core area, that is the thrust areas in clinical research. The first one is innovative area, and that is adaptive trials. Now there is real-time modification, that is interim data, the data that we are given at each stages of clinical trial, not at the last. From the first stage onwards, based upon that data, we can make real-time modification so as to enhance the efficiency and also proper oversight of ethical issues. So that is adaptive trials. That is a trust area. Then, as I told you, decentralized clinical trial. We can use digital tools, wearables, home visit, then travel burden can be reduced. That is another trust area. Then comes the virtual trials. Fully remote trials we can use, where participants are monitored digitally. The participants can be monitored. And also during COVID-19 pandemic and all, we have used this virtual trial. Then comes the pragmatic trial, in which how well a treatment works in the real world settings, more than that of controlled area is evaluated. In real life routine practices, how this particular research is working, that is explained. Then basket and umbrella trials is there, in which one drug is tested for multiple disease, which has same genetic mutation, and umbrella means multiple drugs are tested for the disease, one disease. Coming to the next trust area of clinical research is precision medicine, in which personalized therapies are used. Based upon the individual's genetic constitution, we are using personalized therapies. Then pharmacogenomics. It is nothing but we are using genetic information from the pharmacogenomics. Based upon the genome or genetic constitution, we are prescribing or we are finding out the drugs. Very good example is warfarin's case. It reduces the blood clot, and some patients, they respond to this very fast, while some needs, based upon their genetic makeup, high dose. It is due to the mutation of cytochrome P2C9 as well as VCORC1. So due to this pharmacogenomics, genomics, what we can do is we can avoid the adverse reactions, and also we can enhance the efficacy of the drugs. Then comes the next section, that is the targeted drug development. For example, if you are treating the patients with breast cancer, we know that human epidermal growth factor has an important role in this. So HER2 can be targeted. If we target a particular area and we are doing the therapy, what is the advantage? The side effects can be reduced and the efficacy can be maximized. Then comes the use of genetic profiling, use of CAR T cells. This CAR T cells, already I have done one webinar. You will get the link. I will share the link, and also I will share the slides. So it is an immunotherapy in which the T cells are modified in such a way that the person's T cell is modified and can be used for the treatment. And also BRAF, that is RAF-serine kinase inhibitors. Various drugs such as vemurafenib, dabrafenib can be used. Then comes the digital things, that is the wearable devices. That is a thrust area in the research. Smartwatches, use of smartwatches, glucose monitors. Then mobile health. The apps are also developed nowadays, which helps for the self-reporting of the patients, what all things, any symptoms, any signs that they're showing. It is very helpful in case of ADR monitoring, and also medication reminders, data collection, and all. Telemedicine, consultation through telephone. It is important nowadays. Then the real-time data monitoring through electronic medical records and all. It will help to find out faster decision making. Use of both AI as well as machine learning in patient recruitment. You can use social media as well as by using AI, you can analyze health records and find out the eligible patients for the particular trial. Then comes the EMRAs and big data. They help to track the outcomes and side effects, the post-approval. Then real life evidences will be there, or real world evidences will be there. Once a drug is marketed, real world evidence, they always helps to track the long-term effectiveness. And a particular drug will be associated with rare side effects. That also we can find out through this post-marketing surveillance, real world evidence in the post-marketing research. Then comes the regulatory aspect of this real world evidence. FDA and EMA they are providing label expansions and approvals. Then the trust area is how regulatory innovation. Our ICH as well as GCP modernization. Already I have and also the trials should be more ethics based. Then e-consent, digital consent, they will improve the participants' understanding about the particular trial, traceability and access. Then comes the ethics in global. That is equitable access. All medicines has to be accessed for all. And vulnerable population, everything can be studied here. Then comes patient-reported outcomes, in which symptoms and quality of life has been reported, and treatment burden or data critical for approvals are used. Then advocacy groups is also there for better trials and in order to increase the awareness. Then as the diversity is there in the population, we can ensure this women, elderly patients, as I told you, in post-marketing surveillance, we are including all this and we can conduct the studies. So we can learn about any particular population, the effect of that drug or treatment regimen in that particular population. Then comes the real part, artificial intelligence and automation. For protocol design, in order to find out the dropout. Dropout means during the clinical trial, some will be, due to inconvenience, will be dropout. So that we can study, the endpoints can be find out, then proper trial feasibility can also done with the help of artificial intelligence. Then robotic also, process automation also can be used for validation in order to get quick query resolution, for reporting errors, reduce times and all. Then comes our section 4, that is global regulatory trends. The trend is FDA and EMA is there. They helps for the fast track approvals. Then all the pathways are accelerated and also data transparency is enhanced. Both agencies are collaborating and doing all this approval process enhancement. I mean, time can be saved as a result of this. India's regulatory is there, CDSCO, which emphasize the GCP training and all the things. Then our ICH is there, which provides the convergence. Then WHO's guidelines are there. What are the future in this clinical research? That is gene and cell therapy trials. Now it is taking place. And CRISPR technology is there, in which already I have taken one class and I will show you the slides you can go through. This is actually gene editing tool that can be used for advanced therapies, and our CAR cell therapy and stem cell therapy can be used for monitoring or for treating various disorders. Then comes the microbiome research. Here, this is known as microbiome research, in which our gut bacteria has an important role in regulating various diseases. So many research going on, and it was found out to be effective. There is a relation in autism, Parkinsonism, and also so many things are there. And also for this also, I have taken one class. I will share the slides with you. That is microbiome research. That is the whole microbiome that is present in the gut. It is responsible for its increase or decrease, is responsible for the outcome of a particular disease. Then all the things, this genomics, proteomics, all can be integrated into biological and personalized interventions. What are the career pathways we have in this clinical research? Academic pathways, you can do PhD, postdoc, and also very reputed universities are there in which you can be the faculties. In public health, you have a important role, and the translational research. What is translation research? From lab to the community. That is what research should be. I am also not so much experience in the research field. I am also a budding scientist, but even though I always think in my mind that this translational research has to be boosted in India and also abroad. Already it is it is there. India, it has to be developed more. So as a lab molecule, which we find out should come to the community, then only it is useful to the community. In industry also, we have roles such as clinical research associate, then comes the data manager, regulatory affairs manager, as statistician, medical writer. Then comes the seventh section, that is case, and in which COVID-19 vaccine trial. It is actually a decentralized trial because the COVID vaccine development is fast only, as you know. Global collaboration was there. Then within less than 1 year, the vaccine has been developed due to this DCT's development, all these things. Another example is oncology trial innovation. That is for tissue agnostic drugs. Tissue agnostic drugs means they are the drugs which act on the pathways rather than receptors and all. So this is helpful in precision oncology. For example, pembrolizumab and another so many drugs are there. All this precision medicine's activity or its ability, I mean, its efficacy is enhanced through this. Then comes this last session, that is our summary. Technology and AI are always transforming the trials. So ethics and diversity are always the center. So main thing in the clinical research is that the patient should be safe. The patients should not be harmed. And third, privacy, third, consent, everything should be properly protected. And comes the regulatory bodies should be more agile. Now they became more agile because it's easily accessible. The rules are also easily, not easily, but can be, I mean, applicable to very fast. Then future always lies in the real world validation and precision medicine. Precision medicine is always based upon the particular thing that is there in the human body. Each body, it will be different. And also the real world validation is also important. Instead of conducting experiments in a controlled area, we should conduct more in real world. Then only it should be, we may be able to study what happens in the real world. Summaries of key points. I think you may be able to get an idea about the trust areas in clinical research. AI is the main area in clinical research. Use of AI and decentralized trial, adaptive trial, then use of CAR therapy, CRISPR technology, microbiome therapies, all are the no trust areas in the clinical research that is going on. So this is the total thing about the presentation. Once more, I will go to the trust areas, clinical research. You can see the trust areas in the clinical research, and the trust areas is divided into different types, as I told. Used decentralized trials, virtual trials, in which remote trials where participants are monitored digitally is used. Then pragmatic trials, that is the trials in which real life routine practices is taken. Then basket and umbrella trials, in which sometimes for multiple disease, a drug named A is tested for the same genetic mutation, the disease which is caused due to same genetic mutation, one drug is analyzed, or multiple drugs for one disease is tested, that is umbrella trial. Then comes our precision medicine or personalized therapies, in which, based upon the lifestyle, environment, and genetics, medicines are tested. Their pharmacogenomics is important. How genes affect the drug response is studied in that particular branch. Then comes is the targeted drug delivery system. Then in cancer, CAR therapy and BRAF inhibitors, personalized therapy example. Then comes the use of digital health tools such as wearable disease. Smartwatches, glucose monitors can be used. Then proper M-Health, in which self-reporting medication reminders can be given. All apps can be developed. Telemedicine is an important part, in which remote consultations for follow-ups, site visits can be reduced, and also accessibility can be enhanced. Then real-time data monitoring, proper faster decisions. Then the integration of artificial intelligence as well as machine learning. Then use of EMRs and big data, which helps to track the outcome and side effects, the post-approval. Then comes the real-world evidences in the post-marketing surveillance. Once a drug comes to the market, it helps to find out the long-term effectiveness. Then regulatory acceptance. Then comes the regulatory and ethical innovation, in which ICH GCP modernization is done. Their GCP E6R3 guidelines is there, which will came into effect from July 23rd, 2025, to make the clinical research more flexible and also to avoid the risk. Then e-consent. Digital consent can be taken, so that instead of taking in paper consent, proper understanding, all the things we can mention there. So proper understanding, traceability, and remote access is possible. Then comes the ethics. As I told you, the vulnerable population should be protected. Then patient-reported outcomes. Patient can report the symptoms and all. It will help for the approval. Then better trials, we can raise awareness also. Then comes the diversity. Then incorporation of artificial intelligence in the protocol design to the last step. Robotics also. FDA and EMA have the important role in regulating all the things, all the regulations or ethical concerns related to the clinical trials. In India, CDSCO has the important role, and ICH guidelines is very much important. Future trends is nothing but gene and cell therapy, in which CRISPR, CAR, and stem cell therapy can be used. Besides this, microbiome research can also be used. And also the integration of all genomic, proteomic, metabolomics for a 360 view patient biology. It helps for the personalized intervention. More idea about personalized intervention it will give. So that's there for the thrust areas of the clinical research. These are the references: clinicaltrials.gov, then FDA, then European Medical Association, International Council for Harmonization, World Health Organizations, and also various journals from Nature Reviews, Drug Discovery. Now you can post your questions if any doubt is there, whichever possible. If I know, I can answer, or possible I will answer it afterwards, if not possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's a very fruitful session for me too, being a host here, because I was keeping a note and I was just pointing out what are the points I can get to it. And also there's a question, ma'am, by Sergeant Francis. Like I have mentioned, like, ma'am, you mentioned using tools like predictive tool and deep learning.
Predictor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
for predicting outcome. Could you please
Yeah.
tell me more about the reliability of the outcomes generated by these tools?
Sure. This predictive models and deep learning means predictive model means it is the statistical computational tool which we uses in order to find out the historical data of the patient. So based upon this data, we may be able to forecast the outcomes. So that is the important important role of using prediction models. And coming to deep learning, it is another powerful tool of the machine learning in which we are using the neuronal networks. Algorithms are used, and CNS studies or proper studies can be studied based upon that. Merely selecting a molecule and doing the clinical trials is not proper because there are chances for getting side effects to the particular population. But with this predictive tools as well as algorithms, machine learning algorithms such as deep learning, it is possible to go through all the what all things can happen, we can predict, and we can reduce the side effects to a great extent, adverse effect to the population to a great extent. And also we can enhance the efficacy of the particular molecule, X molecule we have taken for the particular study. That's the main advantage of predictive models.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for
Sajjan, is it clear? The
Yeah.
data will be more robust and because more concise it will be as a result of this.
Okay, ma'am. I hope he have got an answer for his question, ma'am. And also one more question from my side. Like you were telling about the consent. What we have present day is like a patient consent, and nowadays it have came for e-consent also.
E-consent, yeah.
Yeah, we will be taking through a subjects or the patients. And
We
what
go
if,
first.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Concise it will. Sorry, I didn't get. E-consent you were asking, no? E-consent?
yes, ma'am. Like what if the patient or a subject he's having a cognitive impairment, and in those times and all, like how we can go for the consent, or if in case the subject is less than 7 years, or he's younger one.
That's a very good question because e-consent also for the children, in order to answer the questionnaires related to the self-assessment and all, I think it is difficult. It may be difficult, but so much for pediatric patients. For 6 years and 5 years and all, we can get the data from their parents itself. Majority of data we will be able to get. Even for this consent, if you are taking the case of cognitive impairment patient, that's a big question. I also have not so much idea about that because as the learning memory, everything is impaired. They will not respond correctly to the questions of the consent that we have. Even if it is e-consent, we are providing, and also they may be not able to go through all the instructions that is given because in that case also some help from the external source will be needed. If someone could explain it or assist, and I need to go through it in detail. I also have limited knowledge in that. Shall I give a detailed explanation once I go through it?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Thank you, Bhavan.
Yeah. And I hope the session was very fruitful for everyone, ma'am, because like you have started from the clinical research history, like you just based upon the thing, like you started with the base itself and how they are going to conduct and how they bought the rules and regulations. And to be frank, when I was just noting, all my notepad is completely filled with your topics, ma'am. I thought maybe one or two things I'll be getting, but when I just saw your slides moving like that, like I have just mentioned, like you have told about ICH GCP and the current updates, like
that is very important, Pavan. That is R3. It is introduced in January 2025.
yes.
Due to this reliability in the result, in order to enhance that and also to become more transparent, the results, more ethical concerns are arising, and in order to reduce that only they have introduced it, and it will come into effect from July 23rd this month.
Okay, even
Maybe
if
Wednesday.
yes, ma'am. Even if I was working as a intern in a clinical research in Adi Chunchandgiri University. Like I have not came across many of the words which were in your slides, and today I just got more knowledge from your slides too,
Thank
ma'am.
you so
And
much.
hopefully everyone got cleared with the clinical trials, how they are going to conduct, how the things are going to be in a practical way. Yeah, so it was thanking from all the FCPI members from you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity I have get. Always, I believe if we have knowledge, we should learn. We should not stop learning, and we should learn new things. And also, knowledge will grow by sharing only. So, thank you for giving me an opportunity to share what all knowledges I have. My knowledge is also limited. It is not full. As I told you, I am also learning. But whatever possible I think whatever possible I know, I have shared with all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Uh, hope to be collaborate and do so much things with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, sure. And regarding to biome research, what it is coming, and presently it is like just evolving, and also the appreciating thing that you talked about the career and research opportunities too, which will be so helpful for the MPharm pharmacy practice or
Yeah.
college members or all over the PharmD students. Because it is a peak time where they will be going or searching for the jobs and all. So thank you so much, ma'am. And it was a great meeting you and hosting the session for me
Thank you.
also. And in further days, yeah, ma'am, we will be collaborating in for the many sessions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pawan. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We will do end up.